Ladies and gentlemen, you are looking at a starting grid for the young dreamers at the Porsche Esports Sprint Challenge Finals. And now, let's go to the grid.
All right, so let's go for race start. Emma, over to you.
Yeah, we're here now. The lights are on the gantry. We're underway, and that seems to be a good start for Zeth. But Bardia got an even better launch there coming up to turn number 1. In fact, it's going to be 3 wide. Remember, we said earlier it might be fanning out up to 3 to 4 cars into that very wide first corner. It looks as though it might just be Zeth Yuen just holding on to it. No, he's actually been overtaken by Bardia and by Ryan Musin. Zeth elbows out Ryan Musin coming into turn number 1. Bardia goes around the outside, but Zeth somehow, despite being overtaken twice coming to the first turn, manages to retain that first position through, with Bardia up to now second place, staying in second, and third is Ryan Musin at 1 point, but he's been overtaken by Nazif.
Really clean racing, really clean getaway from all of the racers out there. Impressive performance from our young dreamers, mature performance and great racing out there out of turn 1. Zeth Yuen recovered from a semi-optimal start. He took the inside line, he covered himself off, he gave himself the safe space, he elbowed out, and he's back in the lead, and that's Zeth Yuen 253.
Oh, well, that might be a bit of an inquiry from the stewards after this, of course, because, again, it is a bit nip and tuck. It's a bit grey area because it is the race start, of course. Not much penalty is going to be given unless it was a hit. But certainly there is an argument for Ryan Musin because he really got pushed out there. And Ryan, in fact, actually is now all the way back to the pit lane. So somehow, while in the midst of that entire battle, he's dropped all the way to P10. He definitely is the type of driver who has some weird luck, and that is certainly one of them.
Right, so Nazif Nazain here spinning out at turn number 9. They happen uphill. Some troubles here. We were just talking about the clean start and great getaway from all these racers. I'm sorry, guys. This is definitely one of the case of a severe case of commentators curse down here, as Harris is now being harassed by Brandon from behind, and Kelvin gets caught behind as well. The battle for 4, 5, 6 is close. Oh, they touch.
And that's a slight spin there for Brandon. Gascoigne goes through. Gascoigne takes a few positions away. Thank you very much. He says he'll just go through out of all of that, and Adam Ryan up to P5. So Brandon then, unfortunately, he got really shafted by that. He's now dropped to P7. Naz also on a recovery after being hit as well with Vikash Nair. We're only to the end of the first lap, would you believe it? Starting second.
Yep, there you go. Slide spin from Brandon at turn 15, the last turn possible as people crosses the line right now. One time, the Zeth Yuen is now the actual race leader, 1 lap away, with Bardia only 1.8 seconds right behind him within striking distance.
Yes, that is what Bardia needed because he can still see the target in front of him. Zeth Yuen just only a second ahead. That will bode him quite well. Meanwhile, Gascoigne and Naz going side by side there, and Gascoigne takes away P6 away from Naz. Or does he? They touch, and Naz spins into the barriers. So a bit of an argy-bargy moment there because no space was given between the two drivers. I think it was in that blind spot where Gascoigne had the line, but Naz tried to come through, but he has been spun out.
Yeah, that's right. 227. Nazif Nazin has been spun out, and they power on, they soldier on, but now the gap is starting to form between the drivers. Now we have a mixture of fast drivers at the back, fast drivers in the front, fast drivers in the middle as well, depending on the qualifying results, of course. And now this is going to be a motley of interesting crew that's going to race through this entire 10 laps, because now the speed, besides the first 2, is not equally spread out.
Yeah, but it's about hovering under 1 to 2 seconds here between Bardia Nick and Zeth Yuen. Zeth is turning up the wake here. We saw in qualifying how fast he was. He could just do consecutive laps very good. But having said that, his first sector compared to Bardia is always different. Bardia is always good in the first couple of corners, especially up to turn 4, but then throughout the rest of the lap, Zeth's in a completely different league, and it's showing again. That second sector, he gained 6 tenths on Bardia.
Impressive performance out there, out at the front from Zeth in P1 comfortably. Now his lead is there, but it's not a lot of lead. That's basically 2.7 between him and Bardia at the end of the second lap here. Now it's not a lot, but definitely Bardia will close up the gap in certain points.
There's a spin there in the background. It's Vikash Nair, and he is stopped in the middle of the track. That may give a bit of a hope for Ryan Musin, who's plumb last right now after such a wonderful start where he was challenging for the lead. Now he's all the way to the back.
That's right. So Ryan Mosin is now working his way up 56 seconds behind the leaders, but down but not out. That's the spirit of competition. I would like to applaud Ryan. Sportsmanship at its finest. He's back, but he's not down.
Indeed, but it might just be a mountain to climb here higher than Everest to try to get back up to any credible positions that he would love to have come through, especially after putting such a strong qualifying in before the start of the race. Zeth now is fastest lap in that first sector. Bardia just only 300s behind, so he is matching him for time, but overall that second and third sector combined is enough for Zeth to gain yet another second on him through that lap. We're on board with Jeff Chen here. Jeff is doing his job quietly, really just getting the car, massaging it through to the corners, not wanting to overpush it. He is in a very good position right now, and he is well and truly clear of the next driver behind, which is Haris, so he can afford to just take it easy here at this point.
Yes, and what a wonderful position to have, actually, Jeff. Although he's not P1, not P2, he's in P3. It's definitely podium, right? And the good thing is that he have gap in front. He has to get at the back as well. So now he has complete control over how he wants to dictate his own race, and that's Jeff Chen in P3.
Yeah, it's sometimes great to be in no man's land, isn't it? As we cycle through several other drivers after the chaos in the first couple of laps, it has settled a bit here where we're on lap 3. 8 laps to go after this. 7 laps, in fact, when we go through. No, in fact, spoke too soon. Gascoigne has actually dropped it to turn 9. Now we're back to racing action here. We have a battle on our hands. Gascoigne goes on the inside. They go side by side. Door handle to door handle. Shoves Harris out of the way. So shoves Naz out of the way. Naz, Brandon, he will not be happy by that.
Yeah, that is action on each other once again. Oh, this is just immediately after the race. Something has just happened right on track between Brandon and Calvin Gascoigne as Nazif Nazain comes through to take the position from both of them.
Oh, look at that. Karma came quickly for Brandon. He drops it coming out of turn 14, and Ryan comes to pick up the pieces. Where's Gascoigne? There he is. Gascoigne gets the position back, and despite all of that, they remain in their positions relative to each other, but they've dropped 2 more where they were.
Yes, the 2 guys that just say, thank you very much, I'll take that, and off they go. So let's go back to the front of the grid right now. Let's take a look at Bardia and Nick in P2, and let's take a look. Let's have a ride together with Bardia as he attempts to chase down Zeth Yuen in P1. Let's ride together with Bardia in his first-person POV. Now, this is Bardia into turn 4. You can see Zeth Yuen just ever so slightly in front, a tiny little speck in the horizon.
Yep, well, not entirely gone from the horizon, of course. We can still see a full shape. The car, there it is, coming up to turn number 6. But yes, it's a bit of a speck right now in the distance in relation to how he is. It's a bit annoying, isn't it? That you know you have the pace, especially through sector 1. Again, we're looking at the sector times. Bardia set another purple in that first sector, but the second and third sector is where Zeth really shows his class and just pulls away even further.
I think you're right, because the second sector is the hardest to control yourself, especially this turn 9. Look at this. Turns into the apex, hits the apex, powers out, but you need to be really patient on this turn, especially the next 2. If you wash out, that is it. Oh, look at the difference between the sectors among the 2 drivers. Almost identical. Actually, far from identical, apologies.
But meanwhile, we have a real battle again. Calvin Gascoigne and Brandon are going at it again with each other. They were side by side at one point through 5 and 6. Now through 7 and 8. These guys are not letting each other go to their sides. It might turn ugly here if they go even more so.
So here we go. This is Brandon chasing down Calvin Gascoigne. Calvin with the defensive line. Brandon goes wide. The smarter choice. Switch back. Oh, they touch. They touch on the back.
Oh, once again, they do it. They go at it again. Remember, this particular corner is when Gascoigne down the inside. He's doing it again. He's actually done another dive. It's almost the exact same carbon copy move, except this time there was no hit. He manages to get across, but Brandon, though, is not going to give up, not one bit. He tries to go again. Remember, they touched here. Both of them went into the gravel trap, and they're still going at it. Zeth Yuen says another faster lap of the race, 2:07.5. But we're looking for the behind. Gascoigne goes wide through turn 14. They're going to go side by side. Look at that. Brandon cuts across. That was completely malicious.
What an exciting race between P7 and P8, man. Brandon and Calvin Gascoigne as they battle once again. Wow, what a line into turn 15 of Sepang. Never seen that before, but they're battling so close to each other. Now these 2 do not have the other drivers in their mind. In their mind, it is you against me. Mano a mano.
Certainly. 1v1 situation here. It's quite interesting, isn't it, how Gascoigne and Brandon are still together despite the battles. And oh, that's a very tough defensive block there from Brandon, but Gascoigne goes through, outbreaks himself. He thought he had it for a second. Brandon gets back up to P7. Gascoigne drops it at turn number 1, but with the pace that they're both going right now and the way they're battling, they might see each other again in no time.
In a few turns. So they're going to see each other once again as Brandon now regains the lead in P7 over Calvin Gascoigne. Calvin Gascoigne is in P8, now chasing down Brandon as let's take a look at the first sector times as well. They look similar the last time around. They crossed the line. And let's just look at this. Calvin Gascoigne versus Brandon, mano a mano, 7 versus 8.
Yep, an interesting little battle, isn't it? Normally we will look at further up, but because the way that they've been going at it, it's the most interesting battle out on track.
This looks personal to me.
It is. In the way that some of the guys were doing the defense, it might just be a bit personal.
This is really, really interesting. So, at the moment, your race leader, once again, let's go through the list again. Zeth Yuen, followed by Bardia next. Zeth Yuen about to complete one more tour of the Virtual Sepang International Circuit here. 253, takes a fantastic line. No weird, funky lines to try to gain speed for qualifying all the way. He's maximizing his minimum speed all the way with the correct line. 207.689 during race trim.
Yep, in that particular instance, he's only about a tenth slower than his fastest lap as Vikesh Nair further behind takes a bit of a spin, gives Ryan Moose in the position, and we were anticipating that because Vikesh was actually struggling with his tires. Now Ryan at least gets a consolation for that one. One extra position, at least he's not getting the wooden spoon.
Yep, indeed. Now let's see if we can catch up to the dueling pair of Brandon and Calvin Gascoigne, approximately 16 seconds ahead of them. This will be interesting when Ryan catches them, because Ryan does have the speed. He qualified really, really well and had an incident on the first lap where he was sent to the back. But now let's take a look at Jeff Chen once again. He is in an absolute comfortable, really, really comfortable position. A gap in front, gap in the back. He's sitting in no man's land and just doing his own race.
Yep, and has been so since the first couple of laps, because he really is in a wall of his own, we can safely say. Well behind where Bardia is, about 29 seconds, and then Haris is a further 7 seconds behind him. 9 seconds in fact now. It's just really quiet for him at this point, and that's probably the way he will love it, especially is a clean run to the podium. Here's the driver highlight though.
Yeah, that's Brandon, number 55, the yellow car. Interesting choice of color. We love racing yellow, and he has been dealing with Kelvin all this time, and he's now closing up actually to Adam Ryan up in front with a gap now down to only about 1 more second. As you can see, Adam Ryan just ahead of Brandon. I think Brandon will be looking to take the fight to Adam Ryan.
And certainly if the both of them fight hard, Calvin Gascoigne might be thinking of an opportunity to get back up between the both of them as well and take away P6. So keep an eye out on this. This might be the closest battle out on track, and between 3 drivers as well. It's a battle pack. That's something that Adam Ryan would not have wanted here, especially when now coming past the halfway point of this race.
That's right, Amo. So as we cross the halfway point, it is now the 6th lap, and as Zeth enters the 7th lap, he's doing a fantastic performance out in front there. Last lap 208.124. Really, really consistent performance from Zeth Yuen as he looks to lock out this final race here. Oh, as Adam Ryan and Brandon come ever so slightly closer to each other, it is now 255 versus 202. As they power down the main straight line, slipstreaming Adam Ryan on the inside. Brandon has the opportunity to take this position. When will they break?
Well, they're going to break about the 100-meter board, maybe a bit later as well, because look at that, last of the late breakers for Brandon, and he takes it away because Adam Ryan's mistake at turn 14 has paid him dearly, but he can still fight for it, as in fact both of them have touched each other across the start-finish line. Now it's Adam Ryan's turn to be the attacker.
Interesting battle down here. Adam Ryan on the outside now. Brandon on the defensive inside line. Obviously, Adam Ryan with a higher top speed. They both move to the center of the track. Oh, no space. There's just no space for Adam Ryan to turn in. Brandon retains the position down into turn 2.
Oh!
Make contact.
And yep, that was the big touch there, because Adam tried to look through on the inside when Brandon had the space covered. So in that particular instance, Adam just had to back off. Otherwise, both of them would have gone into the spin, and Calvin Gascoigne would have picked up 2 freebies along the way in that that one. Though, amazingly, it was just a light touch, just a bit of a slide. Now they are going to lock horns again.
So that's right, there you go. There you have it. We're looking at Bardia Nick at the front once again. 5.9 seconds behind the leader, Zeth Yuen. He is also doing his own race with 6 seconds separating the front and 10 seconds behind. You can see Jeff Chen behind them as well. So this is Bardia. He's in this beautiful livery, and there you have it.
Well, that's Gascoigne off, and there's Musin going up to P9. So Ryan Musin picks up yet another position. That was actually just on his own, I think, because Calvin made a bit of more than he could chew in that corner and spins it around. Zeth Yuen sets another fastest lap, 2:07.1 in a race situation. That's amazing.
That's amazing indeed. Bardia just crosses the line as well, 2:08.201, 1 second behind every single lap, which sort of tallies. The gap is now 6.3 seconds. It is now 7 laps that has the 7th lap and 6 laps completed. So Zeth is really putting down the gauntlet, throwing down everything on the line for this finals. But he cannot make a mistake. 6 seconds might sound like a lot, but not a lot.
And speaking of mistakes, Brandon drops it around, but luckily though, it's not Calvin Gascoigne right behind him immediately, though he'll have to look behind now because Ryan Musin is actually coming up to the back of him. One mistake after another for some of these guys further behind. That's creating some of these battles. But the real one that we saw just now with a lot of barb in between was Brandon and Calvin Gascoigne. That one was really looking like it was very personal.
Indeed. It looked very interesting indeed. Here we go. So Brandon now crossing the line, 2:18.152. Ryan Musin behind. Let's take a look at his lap time, 2:09.174. So that's a 9-second swing in that one lap alone.
And courtesy of that mistake as well from Brandon after that half spin coming out to turn 14, that yellow Porsche might be looking a little bit sweating right now after this with a black and red Porsche coming further behind. Meanwhile, after this is the penultimate lap here around the Sepang International Circuit, and no one has been able to match the pace, the absolute monotony of Zeth Yuen up in front, that he has been absolutely on it every single lap without fail, and he is going to go on the way here to a very convincing victory in the Young Dreamers category. What a way to do so, isn't it? A couple of drivers did single him out as a threat. Now is more than proven he could step up here to the big leagues after this.
Big leagues indeed. So Zeth Yuen down turn 15. Once again, perfect apex, and powering out of turn 15 is going into the penultimate lap. This is going to be 8 laps completed for Zeth with 2 more to go. Consistent lap times, 2:07.367. What a fantastic performance from Zeth as he goes down into turn 1 for 2 more times actually. This will be for the penultimate lap for Zeth Yuen.
And Bardia managed to turn up the wick on this one, 2:08.0. That's his personal best lap of the race, but he has probably left it too little too late. 7 seconds adrift from Zeth Yuen. This might just be coup d'etat now.
So there we go, there we have it. We're looking at Ryan Musin. Ryan Musin is now in P7. He's been recovering his positions, and now the next target up in front is none other than Adam Ryan with a 5-second gap between himself and Ryan Musin in the black and red Porsche. Carmine red and black metallic.
Yeah, really nice liveries that are on our show here for the Young Dreamers category. Though we cannot mind that too much because we still have to focus on the race. And speaking of somebody coming proper, that's Vikesh Nair spinning once again up to turn number 11. That's unfortunate for him. He's not had the best races. We saw just now Brandon coming to the pits. Brandon's now dropped the position. Somehow Vikesh got ahead of him despite him being on track in front. So maybe Brandon just had to reset the car afterwards because he just had some damage or whatever. He's actually now plumb last.
Yes, indeed he is. So with 8 laps completed, coming up to the 9th lap, our race leader is still none other than Zeth Yuen. But let's take a look at the battle in the back as well. We have closest to each other, Adam Ryan and Ryan Musin. Close to each other, the position 6 and 7 guys. They are going to be fighting for position. This is for 6th. As the gap is now down from 5 seconds to now 2 seconds now.
Yeah, can you imagine for Ryan if he actually had Ryan Musin, of course they're both named Ryans, but Ryan Musin didn't have that torrent first lap where he had to reset back to the pits for no apparent reason for now, because we don't know what happened to him. But if he didn't get reset to the pits, he would have been right up there challenging with Jeff Chen or Biden Nick. Now he has to battle just for scraps in P7. He's just getting P6.
But still, the battle is the battle, and we always look forward to see nice battles. The gap is now down to 1.5 seconds between Adam Ryan and Ryan Musin as well. This will be for position, this will be for 6th position, as our race leader is now on his final lap.
Yep, Zeth now coming up to the 2nd sector. We're paying attention. We'll keep an eye on this because this is the closest battle on track right now between Ryan Musin and Adam Ryan out of turn 14. Onto the back straight. This looks very close then. Gascoigne has another spin. Gascoigne spun it at turn 11. We don't have to mind that. We're watching now. Ryan Musin on the outside, trying to get by Adam Ryan. The 2 identical Porsches with 2 identical driver names as well, might we add. Coming up now to the final corner. Who's going to break first? It looks as though it was Ryan Musin that braked earlier, but loses the position that does Adam Ryan because he went completely wide. And there you go. Ryan Musin gets out to P6.
Clean move, clean move. So that is it for P6 as they cross the line. That is Ryan Musin and Adam Ryan. This is the battle for P6 and P7, and Ryan Musin has come out of it the victor. So let's go back to our race leaders as well, as we will see now almost it will be Bardianik on the screens right now in number 2 with the car number 201 as he tries to chase down Zeth for the last final 4 more turns as he goes into turn 14. He's gonna go into P2, 8 seconds behind. This is Zeth Yuen at the front. This is your race leader as he comes across the last final back straight to finish his race, powering down the main straight for the last time.
Yep, onto the back straight, into turn 15, brakes on the same point that he does every single time without fail. Zeth Yuen then, that smiling face on the photo may be even bigger after this because he comes across the line to win the Young Dreamers category, and it's become a reality for him to win in front of a crowd here and his family members watching on in absolute glee. Well done to Zeth Yuen, a dominating performance without fail. Lap after lap to build up the advantage to Bardianik, who finishes a well-deserved 2nd. But again, you have to concede that pace today wasn't as good as Zeth's. 3rd place, Jeff Chen, out of the final corner then, onto the start-finish straight, and that completes your podium here for the Young Dreamers category.
So thank you, Emma, for that. There you go. There you have it. Zeth Yuen, Bardianik, and Jeff Chen makes up the entire podium.
Oh, look at that. Side by side across the line. Harris and Nas. It's going to be a photo finish. Who's going to take it? Harris took it by just 0.04 seconds. 4,000 separating the cars across the line.
Interesting battle to the finish line. This is it. This is your finals results. And you have your top 3, Zeth Yuen, Bardianik, and Jeff Chen. But what a performance from Harris and Nazif for the final turns down there.